Week 8, Day 50, page 267.
Sounds like Bible.
I know.
The book of Bruce.
One day it's going to be like that. The book of Bruce.
Someday.
And now we read from the book of Bruce.
That's right.
Steph, would you like to read from the book of Bruce today?
I would love to.
I have it.
I think I have a hand gesture.
Homily
so.
from the book of Bob.
Alright, so today is the hanging rope technique. We will do the same preparation process as always.
Before you start, Steph, I just want to mention that there's no changing in the reading before this of any breathing techniques or anything for everything before this. So, like last week, you had a change in the breathing, the 8 count.
Has
There's no
anyone else
change in it.
noticed that valving is like not very necessary?
I don't need it.
Yeah.
It's easy to control.
It's
Yeah.
just annoying.
Well, I think it causes a little bit, like, if you don't have a problem doing it,
It
then
is a little
it's,
constriction of the
yeah,
muscles, right?
so yeah, it's a
it's
little
It
not-
is.
tension in there. So if you don't need it, definitely I think it should be skipped.
You don't need it when you're exiting the process of exiting. You don't do that, right? The valving.
Yeah, well,
You wouldn't do any of those breath techniques during an actual OB exit. That's all just prep to get you ready for the trance state.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think while you're doing the exit techniques, you're just supposed to breathe naturally. By having done that before though, you breathe deeper and slower.
Mhm.
If you skip it and you never practice the
no, wait a
breath
minute
work,
though.
then you would then your natural breathing would be, shallow and
Mhm.
fast and not as
But didn't the reading for week 7 say that if you're having an exit technique, that one of the ways, or when you're having the vibrations, one of the ways to intensify them is to do the breathing exercises.
I think just to refocus on your breathing. So don't obsess over the actual vibrations and try to track it or control it or make them stronger. You just shift your focus to your breathing instead.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I remember
Yeah,
it.
and then you just and play around with it and figure out which breathing works best for you. And when you have the vibrations, you got to play with it and see which ones actually enhance it. So you go with that.
Yeah, I guess it depends on what state of trance you're in, because if you're already body asleep, mind awake, then you've lost control of your breathing, or you should have,
Yeah,
and you should just be able to just observe it.
that's what. Yeah, he did mention that. That's where you want to get to a point
Yeah.
where you're not actually paying too much attention to your breathing. It's just automatic.
Yeah, it should
You
be
did mention
automatic
this, yeah.
if you're basically in focus 10. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it'll just be, you might even be snoring. So.
Remember, one way to break the sleep paralysis on purpose, if you wanted to, would be to quickly adjust your breathing.
Yeah, that's true.
Yep. And focus on your toe, your big toe.
Yeah, I usually use like one of my little pinky or something.
Yeah.
I usually don't. I don't do anything. I like it.
Yeah, that's why I wrote that note in there. I'm like, because he says if your body falls in too much to a real deep sleep,
yeah.
into delta, and then you can't get back in your body right away because your body has to be a little bit awake to let you back in. So he's like, just go out and have some fun, have some more fun until it gets to that point. Yeah.
Right. And on the body end, if you're too tired, just go ahead, take a nap. Don't fight it and get back up and get some coffee. Just go for it and pass out, and then try again when you wake back up.
Yeah.
Is
Or you
that
can
how I
even have
feel
a
right
while.
now?
That'd be good.
But we don't have time for you to try again later, so can't get to it.
Good time for a while.
Good time for a while.
Yeah, take a nap. Wake and do lucid dream.
If you're too tired to even stay conscious, you probably can't do a while. That's right. May matter. Alright, so we're on day 50, the hanging rope technique. And we're on page 268 if you'd like to follow. Step 1, mentally reach out and feel your imaginary hands are hanging onto a strong rope coming from above. Feel yourself hanging onto it. Step 2, when you get used to this, imagine you are being slowly winched upward by a helicopter or similar, dragging you up and out of your body. Doesn't sound pleasant.
Does that sound cool, Nathan?
Feel yourself being lifted and sliding out of your body, moving higher and higher. Feel yourself slowly leaving your body behind you. Feel the spatial coordinates in the room changing as you rise up and out of your physical body and through a large opening in the ceiling. Daily tips. Robert Bruce says, I cannot stress enough that the rapid heartbeat feeling is a harmless energy body sensation. This is not a physical body sensation, as your actual heartbeat does not increase. But this sensation is so visually real that you will naturally worry when it happens. It will feel like your rib cage is pounding, as if it were hollow. The rapid heart center pounding will echo through your chest. To get some idea of what this feels like, tap your fingers on the center of your chest. This will create a noticeable thumping sensation. Increase the speed of this until you are tapping your chest as fast as you can. Now, without hurting yourself.
Now this is crazy what he says after that.
Yeah? Increase the speed of this until you're tapping as fast as you can. Now, imagine this tapping rate increasing by 2 or 3 times that speed, the speed that you can tap, and you will have some idea of what this will feel like. I think your massager is a better example.
Yeah,
Put a
that'd be.
Well, see,
massager on your
the
chest.
helicopter is not entirely out of line.
Right.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not everyone gets overly strong exit sensations, but it's best to be prepared just in case they happen. Heavy vibrations and rapid heart center pounding are extremely common exit sensations, so be prepared.
I was wondering, anybody ever have had that?
Yes.
Yeah,
Anyone else? You?
had the heart pounding.
But, well, not just the heart, but.
The whole area there,
torso,
yeah.
the arms too, just
Yeah.
like a.
I've had both. I've had my full body buzz like that, and I've had it really does feel like the heart itself
Yeah.
has this rapid palpitation, and but it's in the dead center. It's not where your actual physical heart is. And
Yeah, I didn't have that, it was like the whole thing, but it seems like when I first started trying to do this, it was mostly my legs, but now it's moved up. The legs don't do much, so it's upper body now.
I'm so convinced, like, when this happens, because this happens a lot to me when I go through this, that it's actually my heart, even though I know it's probably not. I want to take when I do it, I want to hook something up to me and take my pulse and monitor my pulse, because these things are so easy now to get, to monitor your pulse.
I don't believe Bruce.
Yeah.
I believe it, but I just got to see it for myself. That I feel so much like my heart's going crazy, you know, like.
Yeah. Well, there's certain ones, like I have one for exercise that if it goes above a certain level,
Yeah.
it'll like beep at you and warn you. So you just need like an alarm.
Yeah.
You
To
didn't hear
do
it,
that.
then see,
Right.
it's all in your.
People be blast off. Go.
Yeah.
So I can see happening is he'll have this thing hooked up, he'll be anxious about it, and then he'll finally get the heartbeat thing, and then he'll worry that it's for real, and then his anxiety will cause himself to have a rapid heartbeat, and the thing goes off, and he's like, see, I knew it this whole time.
It really was
Mine would be just get too excited and my heart would start. Oh boy.
Exactly. Brian Mercer's tip is to make the hanging rope technique a bit more mentally stimulating. I imagine that the winch that hauls me upward has a rhythm similar to climbing with slight pauses between each turn of the winch, as if someone is hand cranking rather than it being done by a machine. I might add a slight swaying sensation to give it a little more sensory experience. Again, it helps if you have a goal, a sense that something above is waiting for you, and that you want with all your will to reach. And that reminds me of a previous tip where he says...
He does that a lot, yeah, he mentions
at
that.
the end of, there's another rope technique where you're supposed to go towards the top of it, and to imagine a colorful swirling vortex at the end. And that would be symbolic of the entry to the astral planes.
Or your friends waiting for you, or your favorite pet.
Sounds like the easy way compared to hand over hand.
Kaleidoscope.
Just let the helicopter do all the work for you.
That's right.
Exactly, helicopter winch, I just take it easy.
Just, I wouldn't put it on your neck though.
The hanging rope technique, right.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't say where to hang from, you know?
I know, you could just be the, like, ties here.
Alright,
Discussion time.
session time.
Nathan, sit down.
It's 8:45, so if anybody has to run out, feel free to leave at any time.
Except Nathan.
Except for Nathan. You're stuck.
Well, I have things to share. Should I go first?
Sure.
But I did have one really good meditation during the week. So let's see what all came together for that. I think it was like the second day of the cold. I was like starting to clear up, and when I first started to come down with the cold, I decided I was just gonna like starve it out. So I hadn't had anything really solid to eat for about 2 days at that point. And I was actually starting to feel fairly energetic. And so I went to the meditation room, and I had gotten the acupressure mat and pillow, and I had another little thing that like puts pressure at the base of your skull. It's like a little 2-knob thing that you rest your head on.
It's a very scary thing.
Pressure point type thing?
Worse than that, it's a fabric where they have sewn on these little plastic spikes, and you're supposed to rest on these plastic pyramid spikes.
Yeah, they're little discs with, they probably got about 24 spikes on them.
It looks like a torture device.
Yeah, I guess so. But it doesn't actually poke through the skin. But yeah, I had that, and I had the little thing for the occipital bone, which is not pointy. It's just 2 knobs. So let's see. I started out and I did the inversion board, and what I did was I really got into doing the relaxation for a change. So like I would, do the tense up, and if I had any tension in the area, I would like follow it from like the point of most tension or strain, like as far back as the muscle would stretch. So like, for example, the tension in the back of my neck close to the base of my skull went like all the way back to the center of my back, like kind of down the center line. And so I would like try and like, tense that up real good, and then follow it down, and then just kind of like try and release it and relax, and kind of got that going. And then I kind of continued that a little bit through the pre-stem, and the pre-stem was like really energetic as well. It was almost kind of like it's just bigger movements, I guess. And then the energy raising was like it was like kind of a rush sensation up, and then I was doing like the 8 count, like he said, you can
Hey, you're going to the camera.
for the energy. Sorry, I get distracted. The energy raising, so do the 8 count, 8, then breathe it up for 8, and then hold it for 8 and kind of swirl it around, in your head, and then down for 8, and that got to be really powerful as well. And then when I finally got to the chakras, I did something a little bit different. I started out with the bringing it up to the base, and the normal, like, for me, the ones that I use is from his Energy Works book. I use like a ball about the size of a chakra, and I pass it back and forth through the chakra. And then I do the bread tear, and that's usually enough where I can kind of feel a little pulsing, and then I'll move on and go through. But today, or that time, I tried to like find the center of the
One
chakra.
second, Jim.
Yeah, Nathan
Nathan,
is flooding your
Nathan,
bathroom.
give the toilet, just go like this to the flusher, just tap it like that real quick, and it'll stop.
Okay.
Here.
Yeah. Go. Well, it's a good thing we're not like recording this or anything, No.
Good, thanks.
So, tried to do is I did the ball.
Take that out of his YouTube pay cut.
Yeah.
And then the bread's here. And then I'd like try and find the center point of the chakra and like narrow it down to like just kind of like a tiny pinpoint of like awareness in that.
Like a needle?
No. Well, like a singularity, like a little mote. And then I would explode it. And so what I would try to do is like a combination of like deep relaxing and then that explosion. And then what happened was it would kind of like go boom, 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 boom. And then when I started to relax into it, it would get faster until it was kind of like a boom, boom, boom. And it like really got going. And then I couldn't quite get it to the point where it would strobe on its own, but it was really close. And I managed to do that with every single chakra. And then, so by the time I was like finished, everything was like, and when I got to the crown was actually the most powerful one, which used to be a tough one for me until I noticed the brushing. That's been real good for me, that just kind of feeling like you got something, going over the top of your head, back and forth. For some reason, that works really good just for that chakra. It doesn't do anything for any other chakra, but the crown. So that one really, once I blew that one up, it really got going, and I was able to like kind of like do, instead of pulling energy up, I was like pulling it down, like visualizing. I think it was a full moon, so I was like, pulling, full moon energy, just kind of flooding with white moonlight, and then went further out, and then just kind of like galaxies and cosmic energy, and just kind of brought that down, and it was really intense. So, I didn't have, really much going on beyond that, because I was kind of worn out from the cold, even though I was like kind of mentally energetic. It was just, kind of too much. So, yeah, that was my really good meditation for the week. And then, so, let's see, yesterday was Saturday, so Saturday, Friday, Thursday. Thursday, I guess, was when I stopped eating. Right? Did I eat yesterday?
Yeah.
I did. Okay, so Wednesday was when I stopped eating. So Wednesday, so that would have been Thursday when I had that meditation. And then Friday, I still wasn't eating, and it was weird because it was like...
So you're fasting every day?
Yeah, I was fasting every day. I was having tea with honey, so
Yeah.
I had that at least for a little bit of calories.
Fasting for the cold, but
Yeah.
doubled up with energy work.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so that was a pretty good combo, despite the fact that I was a little low on sleep. That's something I need to work on. I'll move on to that next. But like Friday I had like more energy than I've had in like a long time, like years probably. Just from that fasting and cleaning out, I think I was just like really peppy and run around, do stuff. And I can't remember if it was Bruce, because he talks about fasting in his Kundalini course. He talks about doing that for like, a couple days before you try a Kundalini raising attempt. Or if it was the fat, sick, and nearly dead guy, who was talking about, once you get into the juice fast after, about the third day or so, he talks about like, you'll start to notice like you'll have a lot of energy.
Right.
And that's a function of just how fasting works. It's like, oh, there's no food. We better like energize the body so that it can go and find food, seek food, and so that's actually a naturally occurring phenomenon. So that was that, and so what was the thing I was going to move on to next? See, I like asked you to keep track of it for
Well,
me.
it's the secretary.
Yeah, no help.
Well, you talked about the chakras going crazy. And
Yeah.
by the way, the explosion is awesome. I tried that out. I forgot about it, so thanks for saying that again. But the night you told me about it, I was like, that's a cool idea. We're gonna rip apart our chakras anyway, why not explode them?
Right.
Can't
Yeah,
go
it's-
wrong.
Sounds like they were really singing.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I think that works
Oh,
good with
sorry.
kind of like the strobing thing. Oh, yeah, it was the sleep. I really think I need to focus better on my sleep because, like, really, a good, quarter or half of this course is supposed to be about, dreaming and lucid dreaming and prep work and stuff. And so we've got a really bad habit of pushing to, like, stay up. And then, it's like, oh, gotta rush to bed, need sleep. Certain people keep me up until, like, I've only
wow.
got 6 hours before I gotta get up for work.
Right.
And, I just don't do well without, with less than 8 hours of sleep. 9's better for me.
You talk about that a lot. Make sure you have your sleep caught up.
Gotta have sleep, and I haven't been getting that, and my dream work has been suffering. I'm not, it's like I don't have. If you're so tired when you go to sleep, you just don't have enough energy for anything. You don't have enough energy to do your affirmations. You kind of do a little cheat and listen to it on an audio,
Yep.
but you're not really getting into it. You're not, doing what I should be doing is, taking my keywords from the morning and, kind of getting in that mode of thinking about dreams, thinking about, lucidity. He talks about, read some OBE related work or lucid dream book, before you go to bed to kind of get in the mood. And so really, you should like block out, 8 hours before you got to get up plus another hour of, journaling, reading, being in bed, relaxing, getting ready for it, and so that you've got enough energy to do all that work before it's time to fall asleep. And I haven't been anywhere close to that, and so I really need to step that game up, and I will need some support from certain people in order to make that happen.
Another downside is when, given that we're doing this every single day, ideally we don't do this every single day. We do it on good days. And if we're too tired to do it, then just, do 10-15 minutes of energy work and then do it again the next day. But since we're trying to do this every single day, we kind of have to plow through. And I found myself, drifting and daydreaming and having a lot of trouble staying focused, doing these exercises during the week since we haven't had a good sleep cycle.
Yeah, and that's the other thing is that we end up pushing things. It's like, well, I should have been in bed an hour and a half ago, and we haven't started Bruce yet.
Right.
And so when you're going and you get into the trance section, it's so hard to stay even awake.
Yeah.
Through that, and so we're like starting to develop some bad habits.
So we compensate with the spike pillow.
Yeah, the spike pillow has been helpful, but it only works for a little bit because then the acupuncture pressure part of it starts to do its work, and the muscles relax in response to the continuous pressure, and then the muscles relax, and then you're like, and then you're gone.
Right.
So it's
Yep.
it's only so help. But yeah, I really need that. Might have to start trying to do, take some break at work or something and do most of my stuff then, or take my lunch at work and just do it in the car or something like that. Or we got quiet rooms that I could go to, but I might have to do my Bruce early in the day if we can't get into a good. And it's hard on a 12-hour shift.
Yeah.
Because it really, you figure, it's 13 hours worth of work-related time. You gotta figure, get up, get ready, then
Drive
there, drive back, get home, unpack everything, get changed. And so that all, takes about an hour worth of time, and that's because I live so close. And so, 13 hours from 24 is 11, then you subtract, 8, and then it leaves 3, and then in that 3 hours we're supposed to eat dinner,
Right.
and
Homework.
and do Bruce is an hour, and then it should be another hour
And then
for
dailies.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
And
now
then
that's
the
the
optional stuff too at night. You
Oh,
know.
no, I mean,
Yes.
and then there's the Guild Wars dailies.
Oh, the Guild Wars dailies, yeah.
there is that. You know, that doesn't
Enough time.
all that long. But yeah, I may have to drop that as well if I can't work something out. And just see what I can do.
No, it's good. It looks like you're on, working towards something.
I don't know, it might be kind of, rearrange things so that, maybe
Yep.
I don't know.
Makes sense.
There's options.
I'd be doing the same thing if I
Take a
put
late
myself
lunch,
in your
maybe at
shoes.
dinner, you know, it's,
Yeah, like I think it was either you or someone asked, like, so what, someone else outside the group asked me, so what is the common element between the people who can actually get through the course? What's like the common thread or personality thing? Like, well, joblessness.
Yeah.
Time.
It does help.
Yeah, I wouldn't have a chance if I was
Yep.
working 10 hours a day,
Yeah, so Jason is the exception, and that's really incredible that you can get any of this work done, actually.
Yeah.
He's lucky that he doesn't have to be working while working constantly. He can get some of this done, especially the affirmations done
yeah,
at work.
well, I can,
But
but I mean, that's pretty simple because I can do those on the way to work in the car and on the way home in the car, or if I take my shower.
I always had a hard time just not thinking about work. You get really involved in certain problems, you're trying to figure out. It's hard to just say, okay, I'll have to think about that at work. Because you got if you got a creative solution, you might have that at night in your dream or whatever,
Yeah.
So it's really hard to just say, okay, none of that, I'm on this other stuff.
Yep.
It's hard to separate.
It is. Yeah. Do you? Anything, Colleen, want to add?
For him,
Yeah,
Well, I
for
just-
some advice.
from the time you get up and it's just, try to take time, still time here and there to make it up, and probably you can split those things.
Yeah, it's like, well, you can do like extra work, but you can't really do the whole routine because it's like, well, first you got to relax, and then you got to do your,
Hurry up and relax.
Yeah, hurry up and relax.
Yeah, hurry
You
up.
don't have enough time. I mean,
Right.
if you were even just perfectly organized in a robot, a program,
Mhm.
if you run out of time, it just can't be
Yeah.
done, right?
But just the thought of that, it's like, oh, I'm not gonna hurry up and relax, like you said. If you
can't
have,
do it, yeah.
it's tough. Then whole thing implodes.
yeah, it would be ideal to do it on the morning, but then you have to go to bed the moment you get home, pretty much, just eat, sleep.
Yeah.
So a dream I had this morning was Jason had us go on a very long Guild Wars 2 jumping and fighting missions. At the end of one, there was a gigantic treasure chest with like 50 plus items in it that we had to sort through. So basically, I just kept having a dream over and over of Jason going on these long quests on his game that he plays, and we just kept going on these long ones, and then the final was like treasure chest with all these like items to go through, like so many items, like it was just like going on forever. That was my dream this morning.
Nice.
That would be interesting.
Feels that way sometimes.
Your first astral projection, beyond the real-time zone, will be to a recreation of Guild Wars.
That would be cool. Oh, and then I had a dream the other day too. Lenny and then Bob. I don't know if you know Bob Price and Lenny.
Oh, yeah.
They said, "Oh, Juice has a perfect life for this because you were talking about this. He doesn't work. He has a perfect life to do something like this." I had a dream like that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I am working right now, but it's my own hours, so it's like I'm not working.
Concur the realization that scheduling is very important. Trying to do this course every single day is really rough, but it highlights all the problems in my life that are affecting other areas too. So if I were to fix the things that block me from Bruce, then I would also improve my life in all the other areas too. So it's good for me.
So you'll see how much free time you'll have in another month.
Yeah.
I know. 1 month left, a little over a
Oh,
month.
yeah. I feel like adding a whole hour and a half to my day.
Yeah.
Definitely. I wanted to go through some highlights though, or I
Yeah.
guess.
Ooh, that's
This is-
right. Yeah.
Does anybody want to share an interesting dream in the last week or anything that relates to this? Like
No.
that triggered something, anything?
I didn't have anything.
It just dream I in my dream. Oh, I have to remember this. Take journal. So I took journal and not in my dream.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So when I woke up.
So you're actually journaling in your dream?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But when I woke up, there's nothing written because that's in my dream. I don't remember, and my notebook is empty. Yeah.
And then because you had written it down, your brain goes, ah, phew, I can release that. I
Yeah.
don't have to remember it now.
Yeah.
And then you wake up, like, oh,
Truth to the.
Yeah, I've had one of those before.
I've had enough
Yeah.
of those.
Yeah.
The journal, and you're like,
Yeah.
ah, and you're like,
Now I
hey,
can
and then you wake up, you're like, hey,
I did
I
it.
just wrote all that. All right, gotta write it again.
Yeah.
So who here has done the Gateway series, like just the tapes and stuff?
All the way through.
No, just the first few,
Can you talk about
like the
Monroe?
Focus 10. Yeah,
No, I haven't.
the Focus 10, and actually most of the focus levels in Monroe, they have you develop shortcuts so that you can kind of like instantly trigger that mental state. So like for Focus 10, they'll say like, okay, now visualize a silver circle with a 10 inside of it, and then exhale. It's like you inhale, visualize that 10 within a circle forming inside of your chest, and then exhale and see that 10 in the circle like go out from your chest as you fall into the 10 state. And the 10 state is just, body asleep, mind awake, and that's the basic level. But each of those, they have that same kind of thing. Okay, for Focus 12, we're going to do the same thing. You're going to do 12 and then exhale, and then, or by that point though, you're already too deep to do an exhale. But they'll have that same visualize the number, leaving you, and after you kind of like charge it up, and then it goes. I'm thinking that if you can get to like a good crisp state within an OBE, that like how I did that that recapitulation technique with the energy when I had my OBE, I bet you could do a similar training technique with a few OBEs, and like make some symbol or something like that, and do exactly the same way that the Monroe Institute does their states, and get yourself a trigger set up, and so that you can get yourself like, okay, lay down, and then it'd be nice to just use the Monroe Focus 10,
Right.
get into that basic trance state, do your 10, then write a few, and then do your symbol, and then your projection, you're gone. So I think that would be really a good system to set up, and just
Especially for
practice.
somebody who doesn't have as much time too. For people who don't have much time to get in that state quick.
Yeah, well, it'd be easily repetitive without being boring, because Bruce talks about, well, you can switch it up if it, the induction techniques get to be too boring for you, just so that you can stay with it. Well, if you just had a quick trigger,
Right.
then you wouldn't need any of that. You
Like a
just
hypnosis.
yeah, it's basically what it
Yeah.
is.
Keyword kind of.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the same thing. It's a self-hypnotic technique that they use in combination with their hemisync, to where, okay, now you've got that down. You don't need the hemisync anymore. You have the
Just
trigger.
go to it.
Yeah, you've already trained yourself. So if we can similarly train ourselves with OBEs to have a trigger, then I think that's probably going to be our most efficient and repeatable method. And the more you do it,
Right.
as long as you do it consciously, if you just kind of half-ass it and blah, then you can kind of degrade your training in that, because I've noticed that with the 10 state. I can't get into it like I
Yeah,
can
I can't
anymore.
either.
I can get close, but not all the way deep. So
Yeah.
that's why I'm wanting to go back and do the course again, so that I can and get that down pat, I think.
Right.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to, once you get some repeatable OBEs, then that to me is a real good go past, okay, now we've got past the state where we're, doing our little 30-second, walkthroughs and then quickly back to the body. Okay, now we've developed ourselves to the point where we can do that at least reliably when we get out. Now it's the time to go ahead and start, okay, now let's train the state, as the next step. And then from there you can go, do whatever you want, but I think
That'll be Jason's book he releases one day. How to have OBEs when you don't have much time. It's the perfect name of the book. Because most people don't like that. So, most people don't, or time crunch and stuff, they have stuff going on.
Like subtitle written by a 12-hour shift worker.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Jason, I can see that being a good book.
That could be. I mean, Bruce talks
Especially
about
the
that.
exploding chakras part.
Oh, the
Yeah.
exploding chakras. Yeah.
Yeah, Bruce is for the people that have all kinds of retirees only.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Although you hear him talk, and he says he can project whenever he wants because he's done so much
He's got so much
Yeah.
time invested.
work.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's invested so much time and
Yeah.
so much
Yeah.
repetition that he's got it down.
Well, he'll also find many opportunities. So like he talks about, he takes his son to sports practice, and instead of watching, he stays in the car and
Oh,
puts
yeah.
the chair back.
Uh-huh.
He watches from above.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Goes
he's
out
got
there.
some pretty bizarre recommendations. He's like, so what you do is, find a magazine that's got,
Well, wait, tell him why. Why?
Oh, because, he was doing that in the car and people would like come up and start tapping on the glass like, are you okay?
Yeah.
And then they, wake him right out of his meditation. He's like, oh man, I gotta do something about this. And so apparently even with, dark sunglasses, he had some issues. So he figured out he could, cut eyes out of magazines and paste them, and people would leave him alone. So that's what it took. But he talks about like you said, getting snatching opportunities wherever you can, but also just life like really makes a habit of intruding to like the ridiculous levels. He said he would when he's talking about this in his Kundalini course, where he's got time blocked out. He's done his fasting. He's all prepped for his Kundalini raising, and so he puts signs outside the door. Like do not disturb for any reason. Meditation. He's like, and his neighbor comes around, and starts banging on the window. Are you okay in there? And it's just
Beyond coincidence.
yeah, it's beyond. Yeah, it's
It
like
wasn't just a nosy neighbor that always does that. It was like some kind of eerie cosmic thing going,
Yeah.
conspiracy going on.
I've heard of that type of thing before,
Yeah, yeah.
It just attracts people somehow.
yeah.
And then the idea that we seem to be moving every time that we try this course. Except this one gets so far. No.
Well,
Walked away my heart drive to look at
Yeah.
this.
we'll put it on the step.
You still want to go to the Carby?
Yes.
Okay, I'll go with you.
Oh, cool, okay. So that's for the conversation, but we can't record it over